I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna hear your promises. You do you and I'll do me. That's just the way it is.
Boom.
Allow me to fuck up all my exits. Nexus. I'm about to kick this motherfucking bitch quicker than my exes. I'm sexist. Best mixed Toyota with the Lexus. I'm restless. I need to kick the shit before it festers. Yes, what's good, everybody? Look at this badger. 2 badgers in today. You know what time it is? We need to check, as we always do. Are we in? Yes, we're in. We're on. We're over. But before we get started, we've got 2 badgers in and on and over here. We're only here for an hour, kids. So smash a like for us. It's much appreciated. It helps all algorithms and what have you and all that stuff. All that jagging. But before we get on with that, sort hoodie out for boyos. We've got to move back to get his greatness in. You've learnt this by now. If you don't know it by now, you never knew. Move back to get his greatness in. You know what time it is. Get that badger. In and on and over here. He's in, he's on, he's over, he's here. He loves it. He loves it large. He's bigger than that. Chrissy's large. Chrissy Wilder slipped up. Burnley slipped up. Leeds. Ain't nobody down round here. Ain't nobody messing. No messing about. Mandingo on fire. Ginger immunity, mate. Plenish. Never knew it was called Plenish, to be fair. I have one of these. Simply one a day. Zesty, aren't they? Fruity. So join me for my shot of ginger. I don't know. It's got hold of me. Ginger immunity, that's what it's all about. Big game tomorrow, boys. As we know, shit is as shit does. Quick shout out to Andy Rowe. I'm going to open this bottle of Champion. Never had this before. It's strong stuff, though, so it might... it was going to blow my socks off, but I'm off for an Indian, then I'm off to go DJ, and I don't really, traditionally, I don't like DJing on an Indian, but I think that should ease it out, I think. So Champion from McEwen's. So shout out to Andy Rowe. If anybody saw the short, he got me 2. I can't remember what they're called. Them Peronis, them strong Peronis. My favourite, I can't remember what they're called. But regardless, he got me 2 of them. I can't remember what they're called. And one of these, and I've never had this. So apparently it's full-bodied, smooth and complex. Much like my personality. So thank you very much. Yes, Mingy, what you saying? You'll be right. Like, get one of these Champions down you. What's the Peroni called? I can't believe I forgot. Grand Reserva. That's the stuff. Smash a like for us, lizards. It does help the algorithms. Let's have the taste test. I don't know if Andy Rowe's in here, but I'm sure he'll watch it back. So the pantomime villain is Andy Rowe, as we all know. Well, it's got a bit more of a taste to it, though, than Grand Reserva. Grand Reserva's a bit smoother. That's got a hell of a taste to it. I think it's stronger than Grand Reserva, though. It's 7.3, so I'll be definitely getting a taxi to work tonight. But yes, we've got plenty to talk about today, boys. I want to do a quick... I just want to chat some shit about the Millwall game. I've been banging on, waxing lyrical about how important the Millwall game was, just to get off on a good foot, to get back on the horse, as it were. We're now 79 points, 2 points off Sheffield, so there's a gap there again. Everybody were panicking about the lack of a gap. 75 off Burnley, not 75 points off Burnley, unfortunately. Only 4 off Burnley, but I still think Burnley are going to slip the most, so I think it'll be us and Sheffield United. Yes, JB. Good to see you, Jack, lad. Another big weekend, another early start for me leaving Derby at 5:45. I'll have PTSD entering Loftus Road tomorrow after last season. I know, we're going to touch on that, JB, no doubt about it. So you're actually off to game, man. That's legendary. It's a big one. I'm just going to quickly run through Millwall and then we'll have a bit of a shit talk chat about QPR. But I was so people have been having a little bit of a wobble, haven't they? Hey, Matt, what's good, brother? You all right? People have been having a bit of a wobble, haven't they, about the loss to Portsmouth, and I understand the wobble. Now, I was on the verge of the wobble. You know, my head was ready to pop, but I thought just back in, stick in, get stuck. back the boys, and we should pull it back against Millwall, which we did. But I can't level with you how enormous that game was the other day. Evening, pal. Rich Sullivan, what's good, man? Ref was absolute garbage, though. Straight into ref, Rich, no stopping you. Yeah, it was a good game. It sort of passed me by a little bit, to be honest, in first half. I thought it was just like business as usual. There were a lot of interest about the Facky Fucker, the substitutions or lack of substitutions. Yes, BMG. I can only hazard a guess, and once I've had this, mate, there might be some angry mad gav at end. Who knows? But yeah, really strong taste in that, Andy. Matt Leeds, Aronson and Rothwell were brilliant. I also don't like people comparing Rothwell and Gruev, two good players and two different types of players. I'm fine with either starting. Yeah, there's no comparison, is there, to be fair, man? They play a totally different role, but I just think with the solidness that we've got in there, I really think Rothwell should be in there to end the season. It's interesting that Rothwell said Fucker said in his press conference that Rothwell can't do 3 games in a week. He sort of mentioned his minutes, how he struggles with, a lot of minutes. So whether or not he'll start on tomorrow, I don't think he will personally. I think it'd be too much of a quick turnaround if that's what he's saying. There was a few of us on the cusp of a wobble. That's what I mean. So when we were going into Burnley game, I was like, this is so enormous. To Millwall game, I'm like, this is enormous because that is a wobble. And then ultimately, I don't care what anybody else is doing in this league. I don't even look. I do towards end at games, or if it's 0-0, I might tune into Sheffield or whatever to see what's popping, what's happening. But I try not to bother. I just think what it is, you know what I mean? Like I don't care what they do. We don't need to care what they do. We're not in competition with them. We're in competition with ourselves, and it's the best place to be. So all we've got to do is concentrate on our results. I think QPR tomorrow before international break is essential. I'm literally all over 3 points. A few people have gestured that a point, you take a point. I mean, you take a point rather than lose, evidently, but I think we have to win tomorrow. The wibbly wobble will come again. We'll draw and lose again, and it has to come for me around it doesn't have to come at all, but Preston, Oxford, and Stoke. Something can happen in one of them games. 16th, 18th, and 20th in the league. They are, although that might have changed. Preston are now 15th. Oxford are 20th, and Stoke are 19th. So they're all fighting for their lives. Although the drop-off's relatively big from that, but another little wobble can come there. But before international break, this QPR game, we have to get this sorted. I do believe that. Another 3 points on board. I also think have Sheffield got? Let me check this. I think Sheffield have got Chef Wednesday. Yes, they do. So they've got Chef Wednesday on Sunday. So they have to potentially we sit 5 points in front of them again before they play again. And that's a big game for them. Chef Wednesday, to be fair, I don't think the histories, I'm not 100% certain, but I don't think they're that good again. The record's not very good against Sheffield United. But Wednesday will definitely be wanting to put it on Sheffield. Sheffield are in the same position we were in last year, which I've spoke about, where you're actually, when you're chasing and then you're on top and you're chasing and you're actually able to get to the top position like there was the other day, and then they didn't really take it. They didn't seize it. It's a really horrible position to be in when you sort of like, you're just not there. You're pushing towards it, and then when you get your chance it's too much of a big step. And Chef Wednesday will want to be doing what QPR did to us last year, where that it's like dragging them into the shit, in it, dragging them into the muck. So whereas I don't get the sense that that's happening to us this year. That's why I'm not worried about QPR's last year. We were done, we were gone. We was in the playoffs at that point, in my opinion. I know that sort of cemented it, but the QPR game last year was completely different. It's not my style, Slimud. Yes, Baseline Bible, what's good? Now then, big man, hope you well. Question, do you think Leeds will win tomorrow? Also, do you think Daniel's decision of not making any substitutions until the 85th minute was a bit dodgy? So we spoke about this yesterday on Just Joe's show. I don't mind the lack of subs. The only thing I would say is I don't think it makes a blind bit of difference to bring on one of the wingers. Like if he brings Nonto on or Ramazani on left or right wing for Solomon or James, I don't think it makes a difference to our structure or any. I don't think it affects. I think the standard of player that's coming on, you could legitimately have Nonto or Ramazani starting, and a lot of people at the start of the season wanted that, and a lot of people still want that now. Like some people still really like Nonto, some people really want Ramazani inside. I think Nonto's mint player. I think there's actually really high ceiling for him. I think he's had a bit of an off season, and I don't want to say he struggled with the mantle of taking over from Somerville, who was just like a goal lord, wasn't he, last year? Like, was outrageously good, or his tally was anyway. I think we're more all round now, but that's a different topic. But for me, it's just do the one sub at 65, 70 minutes, just Nonto on or Ramazani on or whatever. Just, it don't really, I don't think it makes a difference structurally. It's not even like bringing Aronson off and putting Peru into 10. That's a much bigger change. I don't think bringing Nonto on makes a blind bit of difference, really. We might also need him coming toward, for along the stretch, this last sort of 9 games. We might need him for longer than we'd anticipated, or there might be some sort of an injury or something. I mean, Solomon's actually, to be fair, been really robust, hasn't he, this year? I know he got injured early on, but he's played a lot of minutes, played a lot of games. So I personally think, and it's a bit of a wild take, this, but I was talking to my brother about it, and I personally think Farke is just literally at this point, he doesn't care. It's just like, deal with this game. Millwall, he trusted him to get the job done. I'm not making any subs. I'll deal with QPR when QPR comes round. I don't think he was bothered about the amount of minutes that they're playing. It's just about getting over the line now in every single game. People talk about, every time we go away, there's a cup final on when Leeds turn up to town. Well, it's the same thing for us now. It's like just 9 cup finals. Millwall, as I say, was like, he just left them on. I just think I also think it's a bit like a mind game. It's sort of like calling them out, because we had a little bit of a wobble, and I don't class it as a wobble. It's a blip, because the draw against West Brom, like I've said before, is a decent point, and certainly was at the start of the season. You all loved that point. So, and then Portsmouth is one of them games. They've done well against us this year. Ultimately, they've taken 4 points from us, haven't they? So, we're on our end of a beat down, really. I think it's positive that we only ever lose 1-0. I think long may that continue, that's for sure, because there's no worse than getting pumped. But as I say, when we got pumped last year to QPR, that were we'd gone at that point. That were a different deal. But I was making a grander point there, I think, about the subs back. Yeah, I think he's called the players out. I think it's like, all right, no, you're the starting 11. You go and do it. See what you've got. I trust you to go and do it. It's like, go get this game won. Go get it over the line. And as I say, then he'll worry about Saturday when Saturday comes round. And I think it's probably the best way to go. I don't think there's any point worrying about how many minutes anybody's played or whatever. It's just like, they've all got 90 minutes in them for a start off. The thing is as well, when like Tanaka plays 90 minutes, or Gruev or Rothwell or Ampadu when he was fit, or Rodon or Bogle or Firpo or Struick, or I'm not going to say Meslier because he's hardly like extending himself, but Aronson is, people are talking about that, or Peru, that nobody has a problem with it. Nobody says, they're playing far too many minutes. And I know when you're out wide, it's a lot more sprints and a lot more impact stuff and what have you. But, ultimately they do have 90 minutes in them. They'll be all right. I think the turnaround's pretty quick for Saturday. I think he will bring Rothwell out and probably put Gruev back in. Also, just to call Gruev out a bit with it. I don't mean call him out as in, I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean more asking of him. It's like, come on, boy, like, stand up and be the man now. It's like, get the job done. We're off up. Do you want to go up or not? And I think we do. I think the boys want to go up. So I also didn't want to end up on like a run of 2 games where we'd lost, because we're going to lose another game coming towards the end of the season. But I didn't want to be in a situation where we've got 8 or 9 games left and we have to win every single one of them to like feel comfortable going up. Do you know what I mean? And not rely on anybody else's results. So now we've opened that gap up again to 2. We'll be 5, hopefully, by tomorrow afternoon, until Sheffield have to play. I'm not bothered about Burnley. And then, they're chasing us again. That's what we want. If the ref doesn't let everything go, we'd be losing Bogle for 3-match ban, so it works both ways. Yes, George. This is an interesting one. Me and my brother was at the ground, and I don't mind it. I thought the ref was poor on the basis that he made some, like the goal is a goal, and I know that's the linesman's fault and stuff. And Farker's come out and been pretty like harsh about that in general because it's he has made a few errors, that liner. But we're sort of stuck in between two things for me. Like it's either like you want the game to be really physical and get back to how it used to be, or you don't. Do you know what I mean? So if he starts booking everybody now. Obviously, because we have a lot of ball and we dominate games. I mean, Fucker actually said this, to be fair. But if we dominate in a lot of games, we're gonna be on the wrong end of a lot of decisions, aren't we? But he's got to let it roll, and I actually prefer it when he does. And truth be told, the Bogle, like you say, George. But there's also that. I mean, again, I was only watching it from the stands, so it can be quite hard to sort of judge how bad a tackle is. You've all got the benefit of an instant replay and stuff, which obviously you don't have in the ground. But James went flying in like from behind, and the ref gave a foul, so he obviously deemed it a foul. What James had done. Sort of looked like he won the ball, but it was like through the back of someone. That's a booking. James got brought down really quite close to us. That was a booking, but he's not. If he doesn't do it, the only thing I would say is, and again, because I'm from the stands, I couldn't pinpoint whether it was the same player, consecutive fouls and stuff like that, which does warrant a booking. There were a couple where I thought that is a booking now. You brought him down in a really attacking area, like you need to book someone, and then you can still not book anybody in the middle. Do you know what I mean? If it's just petty shit in the middle, that's fine. You don't have to keep getting your card out. But when we're actually on the attack, that's you're bringing him down. It's a professional foul, in it. But I thought that other than the decision, which is obviously they're just there to make the big decisions, I got a couple wrong, but I didn't think it were that bad. And I think you do have to put up with it a little bit. We have a lot of ball. All I would say is, the penalty the other day against Portsmouth was wild, wasn't it? I mean, that was 100% a pen and stuff. So we're not getting rubber green, really, but we don't need it. I'd rather go up not needing it. This has been my point about refs whole season off since God were a lad, since I could talk. I was saying this about referees. Leave them alone. Plan for the ref to be shite. And then you're never wrong. And if he has a good day, you go, oh, nice one, he's had a good day. But get the job done without needing the ref. Do you know what I mean? I thought one thing I would say as well, because there was some talk that after that pen and stuff, Firpo, the pen on Dan James at Portsmouth, Firpo had thrown his arms up and Dan James loves it, and he was rolling about all over the shop trying to get the pen. And I agree with that, right? I agree with him doing that and putting a bit of pressure on ref. There are a lot of people saying that they did, nobody else did, and they didn't. They all sort of got on with the game. Now, I think that's also due to the fact that the ball was sort of bobbling about in the box and they were all sort of looking to pick something up, like try and get a chance or, nick a goal. And because I actually wanted Dan James to get up, because I thought if the ref hadn't give it at this point, he's not going to give it. Do you know what I mean? So we don't have VAR, so it's not like, stay down and make most of it. I wanted Dan James to get up myself, but, he was looking for the penalty one and making it clear that it was a penalty. I've totally lost my point with that now. Where was I going with that? I can't remember where I was going with that. Apologies. It's the champion. Must be the champion. Oh yeah, the shithousery. Yeah. So, but yes, I keep saying yesterday because I feel like it was yesterday. But Millwall, I thought they were all the surrounding ref. Like when James got taken down, they were all over him, like pretty hardcore. All of them. Stewart ran over. I think Rothwell were there. James were obviously giving it big licks. Peru maybe over there. So they did all do it. And Stewart did that thing where he sort of hold a few of them off, which always helps. It always makes it seem like, and then it makes it seem as though the ref actually has to communicate with the captain then at that point. So, yeah, man. Perhaps an opinion on the ref, the 2 fouls on Byram. It should have been yellows. Alan Ross, afternoon, Jack. Hope you're well, mate. So the ref in charge tomorrow has history with Leeds. I'm sure the hierarchy doesn't want us to go up. Poster should read QPR and the ref versus Leeds. The 12th man, Alan, yeah. As I say, we've got to not worry about the ref. I'm aware that I'm a bit behind on comments here, boys. I'm sure there'll be a few comments saying I'm 20 minutes behind, but nobody do it how he does it. Matt Leeds. I will take a point because it's in London. We have won in the last 10 in London. The PTSD of last season in this game. I just don't think it's the same. I know what you mean with London. There's definitely something dodgy. And it's a combination of two things, isn't it? It's the early kickoff and the fact that it's London, which not great. I'm not a fan of, but I just don't think it's the same as last season. I can't keep saying it, but we were done. We was already in playoffs, and they just sort of cemented us. And they had plenty to play for. QPR are 14th in the league, 44 points, the 10 points off drop. I mean, they're on a stinking run. QPR. They've lost the last 4. I think they've played some half decent teams. Though, let me look here. They got beat to Middlesbrough 2-1. Middlesbrough aren't in particularly good form. They got beat to West Brom, and West Brom had someone sent off 1-0. They got beat to Sheffield 2-1. Got beat to Portsmouth 2-1, who, we can all agree were a decent now because they beat us. Thought Murphy were excellent in that game, by the way, but they beat Derby 4-0. Derby, obviously, a bit shit. Got beat to Coventry 1-0. Beat Blackburn 2-1. Got beat to Millwall 2-1. Beat Sheff Wednesday 2-0. Beat Hull 2-1. So after that, it goes back into championship form. But, in 6 games there, they've only won 1. It's crazy how you can go on that mad run, like terrible run where they've lost 4 on bounce. But the last game that they won 4-0 to Derby. It's crazy. The championship is crazy. And I think it were even Wilder said the other day, like, championship, world championship. He said something like that, like it just catches up on you. And you just get a random hide into somebody, don't you? Or, which we don't want. I just want to get a little bit further into the season, get that points tally somewhere near 90 for that 90-point 90-point trophy. As soon as we get to that, then I can relax a bit because at least we've got the 90-point trophy. That's all I'm after. So, BNG says baseline. Generally, yes, his subs are often late, but versus Millwall, he got it right. We were murdering them, and it seems to stick with it, which was evident. It's just interesting whether because people are making a narrative that he's pissing the players off, and like Ramazani's getting frustrated with his minutes and stuff, and he will be getting frustrated with his minutes. But that doesn't mean he's got a problem with Farker. Do you know what I mean? That doesn't mean there's any problem in the dressing room. It just means he wants to play more minutes. Ming says the pressure's on them too for sure. I agree. Matt Leeds, Wednesday will be on a high just coming back from 2-0 down. They would love a reason Sheffield United don't go up. Exactly, dude. It's a double whammy, that, innit? It's literally like keeping Sheffield United down and the derby, beating them. So, yes, Wednesday we're all over them at Bramall Lane. Could be a nice draw on Sunday. You take a draw for them, wouldn't you, for certain? JB, cold light a day. We controlled the Millwall game. Second half, we grew in confidence. Aronson infuriating at times. Rothwell, man of the match. I thought he was brilliant as well, to be fair, dude. Yeah. Shame the Peru goal was disallowed. The play leading up to it was fire. Yeah, well, the thing is as well about that, because it's frustrating because Peru's now not the top goal scorer, and because that Cesar's got another goal. So he's one behind, and it's like my man Peru would be still equal. And, selfishly, he'll be furious, won't he? Because, he wants his goals, doesn't he? And I want him to get the goal tally. I'd love it if he were top goal scorer. I'd love it if we beat them. I'd love it if he were top goal scorer this season. But, yeah. Matt Leeds, Farker talked about how you can make subs and that could be a negative cause, because how tight it was. Because you look the other wingers do their trap back the way DJ does. I would say no. I mean, Dan James is a beast. So I agree with that, man. Yeah, I mean, I just don't think it's that risky, Matt, for one of them. I mean, I love Solomon, but he's very effective on the ball, and he's always got a bit of quality in him. But I don't mind that change. I don't mind the Nonto for Solomon or the Ramazani for Solomon change. And I love Solomon, and I want us to sign him. I think he's got prem quality, but he's very good on the ball. I don't know how much of a murderer he is. I don't know how much of a killer he is. But I do think he's got prem quality. He's unbelievable football, and his fast feet and his composure and stuff. He never looks flustered. I just want to reference that, JB, with the Aronson infuriating at times. I think people are really hard on Aronson, man. I think he's got that. I think the number 10. I got pellets for this other day, but I think the number 10 is easily the hardest role, which is that's not an oxymoron, is it? But easily the hardest. I don't really know how that works, but that still makes sense to me. Easily the hardest role on the pitch, number 10. Every time he's on the ball, he's getting pounded from every direction. Every orifice is getting taken up. So he can't, everywhere he turns, he's constantly, if he's going backwards and sideways. I thought he drove into the box a couple of times on Wednesday night, which was excellent. I love it when he gets, because he's got a couple of yards of pace, to be fair to him, and he does move the ball quite well when he gets going. But yeah, I just think people are pretty harsh on him. I mean, there were a few lads in the crowd behind me, you know, saying, "Hey, fucking, yeah, soft, this and that." Do you know what I mean? And fucking, oh, fucking 7 stone piss wet through and all that stuff. It's like, dude, you can't say to me that Arrington hasn't been like strong this season, like it, literally in and of himself. Like, it's just, you know, I'm not, you know, I'm not saying he's a bodybuilder or something. He's, you know, wiping people out of way, you know, Hulk Hogan style, but that's a throwback, isn't it, Hulk Hogan? But, you know, yeah. Rich Sullivan, what's good, man? I know you've commented already, but I'm just saying hello again. Win at QPR and we turn the pressure up on Blades and Burnley. The more points we put on the board, the more we'll pull away, I reckon. 100%. I just think we want to get to a point, don't we, where we're playing a different game. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're playing the game of trying to win the championship and they're trying to chase us. You don't, the longer you're in the dogfight for, you know, the worse it gets, obviously. But you want to be points on the board, man. I want 3 points tomorrow. I know everybody does. I know there's a difference between saying I'd take a point and I want a point. I'm aware that there's a big difference between them two things. But I think tomorrow's is borderline as big as Millwall. So it's a win for me tomorrow at all costs. Get into that international break, 6 points, put a bit of pressure on them shits below us and see what happens. JB, think Farker was saying, you got us into this mess, now get us out of it. That's kind of what I'm saying, JB. Yeah, literally, like, you know, we're having a wobble here and I've put my faith in you boys. Like, go out and get it. Go make that face at them, dog. Sign of Nature says, more bumps ahead, so relax on this roller coaster, lol. It'll go to the wire. It's the Leeds way. Yes, sir. I think it'll go to the wire for the title. I think us and Sheffield, I think Sheffield will give us a good run for it. But I honestly think Burnley they'll drift. I just don't think you can draw that many games. I know they've been on a few wins, to be fair, but they're still, you know, every time you look at them, they've always drawn at least 2 in the last 5. They never seem to get out of that. So, yes, Sripper, what's good, brother? BMG, possibly true about Bogle, but their left back, Brian, should have had 2 Stonewall yellows and didn't even get booked. Yeah, I know. I know. Yes, hard style images, afternoon all, just getting ready for the Peaver Chava. Let's see what all angry Gavs have to say. Let's have it. What's Peaver? Different season, different players. I presume that's in reference to QPR. I agree. Sripper. That's a hell of a profile picture, dude, with Ayling, my man Ayling in there. George says, worst thing about early kickoffs is there won't even be pushback from the board. They see it as bonus TV revenue. Well, to be fair, yes, AO, thank you. Smash a like for us, guys. There's 41 people watching and only 21 likes. So let's get the likes up, boys. And get them likes up. It does proper help. Yeah, the early kickoffs just come with the nature of the beast as well, don't they? You know, we're a big club ultimately. We're the biggest club in, and in all honesty, I mean, we're the biggest club in Championship, no doubt about that. But in all honesty, it's also hard to make the case that you don't. Everybody can watch them all the time on Sky, can't you? So, including us as fans, it is better when the game's on Sky, isn't it? Like, you know, it is frustrating when the games are on. So, at least a lot of if the majority of our games are watchable, aren't they? You know, whether it's in pub or illegally. I mean, I know you can watch every game illegally because there's always some sort of a feed, but you catch my drift. You know, it's part of playing for a big club, part of pressure of playing for a big club, and you know, we're wanting to get back at it. Evening, Andrew. Good lad. I think Bogle will be back to his usual self now. Bookings are over. I think that's been heightened, Andrew. I don't think that's been a thing. Competitive football like that, you cannot compete if you're worried about getting a booking. Do you know what I mean? I think there's been a lot made of that as though like there's been a drop off for Bogle, but I don't think that. I really don't. I just think we've had a few shit games, a few bitty games, and it's, you know, and we're at the other side of it now, hopefully. So, I mean, I think we can go rest of the season. If we lose one and draw one, we're going to end up on 101 points, which is just mad. Yeah, he did that with Gruev as well. Against Portsmouth, which I thought were a bit of a strange one. But I don't know whether it's with a view to, because he knows he's bringing Rothwell back in, whether it's with a view to see, like, Tanaka just holds the whole game. Do you know what I mean? He did it with Gruev, and I thought Gruev's further forward than Tanaka here. Like Tanaka, if Gruev and Tanaka are playing, we surely all agree Tanaka's the 8 and Gruev's the 6. But he didn't seem to be doing that against Portsmouth. It seemed to be more like Gruev forward. And then, like you say, I mean, with Rothwell, it's obvious he's going to be in the 6 because Rothwell is the 8, isn't he? Yes, Soil. Yes, Neil. Bargain at Championship. Bargain at century, innit? It really is. Each team to be given fair play cards to each, where it refers to look at replay monitor and field like tennis. Peru's goal was class. Peru's goal was class. So definitely in on that. Stephen Bell, wonderfully put. Aronson works his dangly bits off. Done half. Yes, that was Angry Mad Gavin behind me. But as we know about Angry Mad Gavin, he don't go to games, does he? He just sits with his back to TV and pub and assesses everybody else's posture and gestures. George, folk undervalue Aronson off the ball. Aronson's off the ball work to buy, passing it off as, oh, well, he works hard. In this system, he's basically doing the off-ball work for both him and Peru. Absolutely, George. You know, he does, and he gets about it all. It's not this all well, he works hard. Do you know what I mean? Which I know is what you're saying. It's a silly. It's like it's mindless. Like he's just running about. Do you know what I mean? It's like he wouldn't be doing that work. He's an energetic lad, isn't he? He's definitely that way out, and you might as well get the most out of him in that sense. I've said it before, but players get pigeonholed and they end up in positions where they're just like, you know, this is who he is. He just works hard. It's like, well, he doesn't actually. He's chipped in with a fair few goals, had a fair few assists. He's not as good as Rutter on the ball, but not many people in the world are without being daft. You know, I mean, I don't think Rutter's one of the best players in the world, but in terms of, you know, being on the ball and just like unbelievable quality, and Rutter was the most frustrating player for us last year. It's the most frustrating role, that number 10 role. He's really up against it, is Aronson. And it's his first full season in, well, it's not. It's his second first full season in English football, but it's his first season in Championship. You know what I mean? He won't have even known what day it was, really, when he got here. And, you know, we'll need him next year. That's the irony. Obviously, we're gonna want a better 10. Be interesting to see if Fucker actually switches it up a little bit for the Prem, though. I spoke to my brother about this, and I'm not too sure whether or not we're going to be able to have this sort. I think we'll revert back to like the start of the season where we're very cautious. I do think he's opened it up a little bit with us in general past sort of 10 games and let them sort of go take the bull by the arms. I used to wait for the iron to be hot before striking. Now I make it hot by striking, and that's a Shotty horror line. And now I've lost my train of thought because I was trying to remember what the Shotty horror line was. And I'm hoping to get on a podcast soon if anybody knows Shotty horror. And I forgot what I was saying, so I'll have to move on, unfortunately. I think we'll be up with 3 games to go, says Andrew. I agree, dude. And that's the 3 games. Burnley play Sheffield 3 games to end at season. I'm pretty sure it's 3 games to end at season. BMG Aronson not only works, but he played well versus Millwall. Unlucky not to score and played a key pass in the build-up to the second goal. That little back heel that he does on edge at box, man, is delightful. Ain't no doubt about it. It's a delight. It's a lovely piece of work, that. Do you know what I mean? They've all got nice little touches in their edge at box. And that's what, you know, Perisley gets pelters for not being like delicate on ball. And he's got some lovely little touches around box. He is delicate with it. Just also, you know, that's why he's not a top footballer on the bit, you know, like a Premier League striker, fucking Erling Haaland style, who also has his critics on the ball, to be fair. Being up top, if he gets goal record, who gives a shit? But he's offered more than he's been let on. BMG Peru has improved noticeably with his link-up play the past few games. I do think some of these players just need a bit of a break from, like, you know, getting abused. I honestly do. It's like he's not always going to be. He's not. I've said it before, but we've got 3 strikers at the club. We've got Joseph, Bamford, and Peru. And if you combined them all, you'd have a world-class striker. Unfortunately, they all offer something a little bit different. And, you know, I mean, I'm struggling with Joseph a little bit, but he's definitely, you know, he's got the youth on his side, and he's got some, you know, he gets about. Nickel UFC, what's good, brother? I Jack 3 points tomorrow, no problem. Break the London curse, love it, mate. I'm all in. Stephen Bell says top 2, no sweat. I think that's all that matters. I agree, but I do want to win league, man. And to be fair, Luke from Ought to Know Better, he said that if we don't win the league, he thinks it's a failure. We are the best club in the team, best club in the land, but he didn't say that. But we are the best club in the championship, best team, and we need to win the league. And I agree with Luke on that. I do think it would be a failure if we finish second, but I'll take it. I'll take it because all that matters is getting to the promised land. And what we've learned I know everybody that went up last year have come back down this year, but what we've learned over time, it's not always the top team that stay up. Anyway, it just doesn't work like that, does it? It's a whole different world when you get up there. And also, it's not unusual to get beat by the team that finished second. In the Prem, you know, there is in the Prem is the then. I'm gonna stop doing that now. But in Prem, like, there's been a lot of occasions where the team that came up in the playoffs or whatever actually ends up beating the team that would have never beat them in the championship the year before. So that just goes to show you how much confidence and stuff makes a difference in football. It's a wild world out there. The toughest remaining games, in BMG's opinion, are QPR, Borough, Preston, and Bristol City. Well, Borough, on the basis that the 9th and it is a derby, and I didn't realise how much they hated us, and that is away, I think, the Borough game. And then Bristol, I don't know if they're still 7th. Yeah, they're still 7th. So Middlesbrough are 8th. They've won 3 of the last 5. Bristol are 7th. They've not been beaten the last 5, won 2 of the last 5, drawn 3. I agree. Bristol and Middlesbrough are the hardest fixtures. Yeah, I think Luton's a weird one. Swansea at home, you'd back us at home. Preston at home, you'd back us at home. Oxford away, I back them there for some reason. Stoke at home feels weird. That's 3rd to last game. Bristol City, I think, you know, 2 home games on bounce towards end of the season should really do us world of good. And then Plymouth away on last day. I don't think it'll get to last day. I can't see how it can really. I think it might to win the championship, but I can't see how it goes to last day. With all 3 teams sort of in with a shout of going up, I can't imagine it. Be interesting to see if Ampadu gets back. Yes, indeed. Will Ampadu be back towards the end of the season? Wigan White's loyal. Yes, Stephen, what's good, brother? I don't know. That Fucker were talking about his rehab and stuff, saying that it was going well and what have you, but I don't know. I think they're going to leave it for as long as they can until, you know, it gets towards the fact that it won't be there for pre-season. And I think if it gets to 4 or 5 games to go, and it's a bit of a risk, but we're doing really well, I think the only chance we'll see Ampadu back, I think the only chance they'll risk him before the surgery, if he definitely ends up needing surgery, which I think he probably will, I think the only chance we get him back for a couple of games is if we're on the wobble and we need Ampadu in there. Do you know what I mean? If it goes well, I don't think we'll see him to end at season. So ultimately, in my opinion, if we don't see Ampadu, it's because we're winning the league. Do you know what I mean? If it starts to get a bit edgy and we can get 40 minutes out of him in like big games or something like that, I think he'll go for that, you know, bringing him off at bench and stuff. Because, I mean, Fucker in his press conference did mention that he gets up to match sharpness really quickly and stuff, which is obviously, you know, a good thing. So once he's back from his rehab, he's in training, apparently light training. He's got his boots on. Fucker said. So yeah. AO says we are going to have the kitchen sink thrown at us in our remaining games, as every team is going to do their best to make us not go up this season. We need to be prepared for it match on together. Yeah, I as I say though, AO, I don't think it's the same as last year. I don't think teams really think they can pull us into the shit. I think it's more. I think everybody unanimously agrees that we're the best team in the league. So I don't think it's like dragging us into shit. It's just like a big scalp. It's like a good, you know, it's a good winning. It's an amazing win, amazing day out. So you still get that bit. But whereas last year when we went to QPR and stuff, it were like we were chasing it, hunting it down, and then they took it away from us and put us into playoffs. It doesn't have that feel for me this year. So we could have Ampadu back for the last 5 games. Yeah. George. Aronson, perfect squad player for Prem. If we are chasing a game, I need to increase the press off the bench. 20 minutes to go. It'd just be good. Definitely good on bench. On the bench, that sounds ridiculous. But coming off at bench as an option and stuff, you know, you just want. Sometimes you want players 6 or 7 out of 10 every week that not going to blow the world up, or you know, well, you don't want anybody to blow the world up, but you know what I mean. Football wise, I don't want nobody blasting off. But yeah, you want to keep the nucleus of the squad. That's what I was saying about Firpo the other day. Like, you know, he's been amazing for us, and I know a lot of people are saying, you know, let him sign off and go into the wilderness on his own, the wanderer into the wilderness. A Leeds legend, but I don't think, you know, having him sat on bench is going to hamper us in any way. And ultimately, if we don't sign him, we'll need to get 2 left backs next year, and the less business we have to do in the Prem next year, the better. We surely all agree with that. You know, you don't want to be in a situation where you're needing to replace quite literally your best left back. If you're improving on your best left back, obviously, let's go. Let's improve in every single position that we can. But you don't want to be buying one and then buying a backup one. That just seems fucking wild to me. So BMG Rutter lost his form in the last season, and as if Aronson does the same, which he arguably did for several games, he will still press and won't impact us as much. Do you mean that as a positive there, BMG? Because I've taken from that he still sort of gets a decent job done, even when he's not necessarily firing on. Because Rutter lost his form when he got injured and stuff, I believe. I agree. I think it was because of the injury, personally, but that's by the by. He went off the boil, and then we struggled in attacks, didn't we? So, whereas Aronson doesn't need that part of the game to still influence the game. If that's what you're saying, I fully agree with that. Andrew McCoy says Brendan will get a rest. USA not picked for internationals. Yeah, no, it's good that, isn't it? It's good. Rothwell gives the back line no time to think when charging from midfield. It's the best thing, man, when he sets off. I can't believe how agile he is, because he sort of looks like, you know, I don't mean this disrespectfully, but it looks like sort of clumbersome, like lumbers about a little bit, but you know, he's about it. He's always, and he does he doesn't touch the ball all the time, but he takes like these sharp steps, and it's because he literally, like, the ball will go like whenever he wants, you know, like he's always on look. It must be awful, honestly, like as a centre back or a holding midfielder, to when he gets on ball, it must be awful, because you know it could come, it could be you, it could be you, it could be you, like, so it makes everybody quite highly strung. And that's one thing that I've said about, you know, the sideways passing is not the problem. I know I've said this, I'm just eating myself saying it, but it's true that playing a ball 2 or 3 yards forward sideways, you know, into Aronson or out to James or whatever, wherever it goes, is so much more beneficial than always going back 2 yards to Struick. It doesn't have to be like literally a forward ball into Peru or an aggressive ball. Just anything that's sort of like, you know, the 45 degree, I've just done that. You can't see what the 45 degrees makes a huge difference, doesn't it? If it goes that way, no worry. But it's the fact it always goes that way with Gruev and Ampadu, which isn't, well, it is a problem. But, you know, that's where we get frustrated with the sideward passing. It's the fact that they get the ball and they don't look like they want to go forward every time. Whereas when Rothwell and Tanaka get on the ball, they always look like they want to go forward every single time. Even if they don't go forward, they always look like they want to. So it puts the other team on edge. And that's when you start wearing teams down a little bit. Because if not, they just settle in and think, this ball's never coming into this number 10. Never getting popped into Peru. They don't risk anything. So, but whereas Rothwell does, and to be fair to him, he's really not wasteful when he does pop it in there. You know, even if you pop it in and getting it straight back, it's a bounce pass, whatever they call it, or a wall pass, whatever they call it. And it, you know, it's so much more beneficial. It just alters things a little bit. You've got to move them around. It's not just about the pace of moving the ball. It's not just about moving it as fast as you can. There's also, it's moving with intent, isn't it? Moving to hurt. Moving the ball to hurt you. Emma Oliver says, what about a really touchy subject? If we go up and stay up, forget about Ellen Road, upgrade, we need to move. Huge site behind the West Stand, 60,000 noisy stadium with fans close to pitch. I want to stay at Ellen Road. So if that answers your question, I really want to stay at Ellen Road. Tripper says, we totally should be winning the title. Don't like silver medals. I agree, brother. BMG, if you gave me a 5% chance of winning the league plus a 5% chance of playoffs versus a 100% chance of top 2, I would be top 2 every day. Obvious, I suppose. We're going up as champions, boyo. Don't worry, BMG. BMG, I think Joseph will probably get loaned out if we go up. I think he'll have to, really. If he's not playing in Championship, he's not going to play in Prem. We'll see a different Joseph if we go up, says AO. He'll find his scoring feet and bang them in for sport. I don't know. Andy, well, you got your shout out at the start for the champion. It says it's full-bodied, smooth, and complex, which my joke earlier was just like my personality. I don't prefer it to reservers, but I would get another. But it is quite, it's very tasty. And I think Grand Reserve is quite smooth and slick, but that is some tasty stuff. And I'm not always a taster. I'm not a taste fest. I don't always want too much taste. So I'm quite a boring Yorkshireman, really, in that sense. But shout out to Andy Rowe for me beers. I appreciate you, brother. Lovely man. Apart from a bit when he's the pantomime villain. But it does help the channel. So Andy knows what day it is. I'm so tired of all the Aronson articles and bashing while the team has lost one single game since November. Can never be happy. Don't know who guy loves posting the Aronson shade. People remember he won POM. Player of the month, is that? Yes, Slim Hood, champion. 73, 74 hours there. Get up, my lad. Marathon session, you know me, Andy. Last night, my missus had left a job, so we went out for a couple of beers to celebrate, and then long may it continue having this, and then off for an Indian, and then I'm off to work, but I'll have a couple of bevies at work, and then I feel like shit for live tomorrow, which I will be going live tomorrow, guys, for the game, for the watch along, so join me. But loaning Joseph out would put pressure on us to sign a decent striker to replace him, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with Joseph next season. Well, my argument to that would be, I know obviously you want really 3 strikers, don't you? But, heaven forbid we keep Bamford, everybody will go into meltdown, but they'll probably keep Joseph on that basis, but he does become the 3rd striker. They're gonna potentially get someone in out there to challenge Peru Parisley, and it'll be up to Peru Parisley to keep his slot, really. I mean, you can't throw away what Peru Parisley's done this season either. So, just got to see. It's going to be hard up there, but these people that want 10 players in and they're just going to improve on every single position, it's just bollocks. It's just not going to happen. How can you, unless you're spending hundreds of millions? I know people say, "Oh, fucking Tanaka's 3 million." It's like, that's what I'm saying. That's what I've been saying all along. Everybody wants this marquee signing, the Rodrigo signing, when everybody wets the bed about Rodrigo, and really, I don't think he was that good for the club overall, truth be told. I thought it was all right, but, we did spend a lot of money on him. It's probably been better off getting, you'd have been better off getting 4 or 5 Tanakas with that money. You could have got a few more, which I know. But yeah, we're going to have to hold the nucleus of the side, keep the nucleus in. But will Joseph want to be the 3rd best striker at the club? I think he still is, to be fair. I think Bamford's still better than him and he can't get fit. So, yeah. BMG said Aronson had been bang average for a while until Millwall, but he still adds value off the ball. Quite a few others have had bad runs or bad games. Ampadu had a few below par performances before the injury. Yeah, he still adds value. I agree. These proven strikers, though, BMG, I'm not sure they exist, brother. Andy Jack, what are you with the disallowed Spanish penalty kicks? I thought it was only Leeds with official problems. Grabbing Scramby back in 10. The Spanish penalty kicks? Do you mean the Alvarez one where he double touches it? Because they're on about addressing that, aren't they? Because it was a joke, that, really. It doesn't even look like a double touches it to me, but I know when the foot slips, but it's what it is, isn't it? I ultimately don't really give a shit about that, but Leeds will offer 3-year contract. I think Firpo goes back to Spain. Firpo's a proper interesting one. It's we smash a like for us, guys. We've got 54 in the room and only 41 likes. So let's get these. If we can get these likes up, and money here for 10 more minutes. And get these likes up, boys. It does help the algorithms and things. And then Joe doesn't think I'm such a bitch. And he sees my numbers and he's like, oh, fair enough. Yeah, it's an interesting one with Fairport. I don't think it's just the contract length. You know, I'm totally speculating here. I have no idea, obviously, but I don't think it's just the length of the contract. It will be. He's not going to accept a year contract. It fucks his career up, really. But I think there's a concern. There's like a narrative building that Farke doesn't really trust him defensively, which I know nobody does, and that's fine. But I think a lot of clubs would take him on a free. Is he thinking, am I going to go up next season and have loads of competition at left back? And they're going to, you know, if he does a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year contract, and then think, you know, if he signs right, if he signs a 3 year contract, then the wages are all right, and he's like, yeah, I'll do it, thinking he's getting first team football in the Prem, and then we sign 2 left backs in the next 2 years, say, or one in summer, and then realise he's shit, and then one in January to try and compete or take Fairport's place. He's not going to want that 3 year contract, is he? And same for club. If we're going to look to replace him, ultimately, he's better off just getting out now, isn't he? Why? I know you've got to fight for your right to party and, you know, fight for your spot, but it's not. Why would he do that? If he's in a 3 year contract, it massively reduces the amount of clubs he can go to. There's there's tons of clubs that take him on a free and pay him a little bit more in wages on the basis that there's no transfer fee for him, because that's a lot of the time what happens. Obviously, when they're on a free, you get a lot more of it in your wage packet because you've come to the club for free. So he might be offered a better wage packet elsewhere and know that he's probably been signed as the left back, and we're not treating him as the left back. So I think it's a tricky one with Fairport, but I love him, and I think if we could keep him, I'd love it. I think it'd be good to see him because, you know, I think he gets some decent numbers in. I mean, his stats are a joke. So bloke's a joke, isn't he? So, you know, I do think, you know, given some opportunity, and if we're playing well, it don't get better than Fairport left back, really. And I mean that, like his assist on Wednesday. You know, I know it's potentially people saying that he's cutting it back for somebody else and ends up with Tanaka, but it's still composure and like brilliant balls in brilliant areas, balls in areas. My man Mandingo putting them balls in certain areas. I know I say it every time, but his athleticism flying into the box, his timing, his delivery, he's so calm. He's perfect in the box. He's a fox in the box for the assist. And he's also been injured. His assists are through roof, but he's been, you know, quite heavily injured throughout his whole time at Leeds. And also, he was injured a lot in the Prem. And we don't give him any sort of credit for that. And I know he's a bit shit at defending, but let's be honest, all left and right backs nowadays are shit at defending, aren't they? We'll see if Bogle can defend next year. Nobody's saying that we need to replace Bogle. Bogle's the best right back we've had for a while, isn't he? So, you know, and ultimately he's an upgrade on Gray, isn't he? I don't think he will be. I think obviously Gray will go on to better things, you would imagine, but he's an upgrade right here, right now. Bogle's been a lot more instrumental into our way of playing than Gray was, you know. So that's not me wanting Gray out of the club. It's just, you know, he's gone to Tottenham, and I mean, Tottenham are in disarray. I don't want to talk about that. It's just a bag of shit, in it. Not that I care, like, but yes, BMG. Oh, what's happened to my thing here? We're lagging here. Sorry, boys. Is it feed still going all right? It's my thing here. Yeah, I think it's still going all right. Can't understand why Fairport is risking injury playing 2 friendlies against Puerto Rico. If it's not a FIFA tournament, I think the club can stop him going. I know, but he loves it, doesn't he? And Fairport will not be told what to do. Whenever Fairport's told what to do, he ends up doing something else. It's like, you know, it looks like he's got that free roll and he's just wandering about all the time. That's why we call Mandingo the Wanderer. But, you know, if you don't wander, if you said, oh, like, Fairport, I actually love what you're doing, like, wander, keep wandering, just do what you want, play wherever you want, he'd be like, and then he'd end up in, like, real, like, traditional hardcore left back and just not move out of his position, just up and down with back line like that, holding line, like, he'd become the best left back in the world defensively then. Like, no, Fairport, I want you to get forward, lad, get yourself forward. But no, I do the opposite of what I'm told, mate. Play of the month, August. I didn't know that, to be fair, Michael. Crazy. So is Farke currently the best Leeds manager ever at this stage in a Leeds career? I think Squareball stated this in how many games he's managed us and wins game day. He's got the record, hasn't he? I think it's 50. Is it 50 wins or something? He's got to 50 wins, the quickest any manager's ever got to in Championship. But my man, typically like Farke does, he sort of played it down into saying that it's down to team and stuff, which it is. In fairness, I don't want to do the Bielsa Farke talk, and I love Farke, but I think Bielsa is. To be fair, it was just a football when it was Bielsa, it was just crazy football. So yes, Pat Dunn, let's go, brother. Thanks for tuning in. BMG, if we go up, I'd say we prioritise real quality at 9, centre mid and centre back. And the others, say, like Struick, Rodon, Tanaka, Ampadu must compete for the other spot. Never a bad idea, mate, to get the spine of the team sorted, is it? You know, you can fuck around out wide and at wing backs and stuff. And if that's your weakness, that's your weakness. But, you know, you get the spine at the side, good. And you're not going to find yourself in a bad place, are you? Ayo says, imagine if we bought another 4 Tanaka type players, we'd run riot in Premier League next season. We'll see how good Tanaka is in Prem. We don't know. Everybody loves Tanaka and I love him, but we're all adamant that he's going to absolutely boss it in Prem, and we don't know that for sure. For sure. It can. I disagree, Dr. Kuros. He's unbelievable, man. His touch is unbelievable. Well, it's all right aiming higher than that, Dr. Kuros, but we're not higher than that, are we? So, Andy Rowe, I've not followed what Llorente is up to for quite some time, but there is 2 of them, so don't get stuck with that. But Llorente we wouldn't have got Llorente had he not been so injury prone. He was a player. He had some. I mean, we're only a cup game, I think, against some shits, but me and my mate went to watch it, and he played 2 of the best balls I've ever seen, like genuinely live. It's tremendous, and 2 totally different ones. He drove the ball, it speared across must have been 50-yard pass, and then the other one was like a curl round outside for I can't remember who were running onto it, maybe Alien or something. I can't remember who it was at the time, but tremendous player, but unbelievably injury prone. And the bloke could defend up until his legs went, which was every 10 minutes. 1-on-1, you did back him to defend, and then he did collapse, to be fair, you know. And then I thought it was shit, but definitely, you know, blighted by injuries. Yes, Matt, I love it. I would give Firpo a chance in the Prem again, personally, and sign another left back for competition. 100%, dude. That's where I'm at. Keep the nucleus at squad. Keep your best players. It's all right saying, oh, Firpo's not Premier quality. We need to look higher. It's like, well, it's only one that's like, you know, he's been one of our best players this season. For me, you just want to keep the best players at the club and then just work with what we've got and obviously try and improve every single position as you go. But don't get rid of your best players, regardless what level we're playing at. We're in the Championship. We can't do a lot about it until we get out of it. But you can't just go, well, he was good at Championship, but fuck him off. It's like, well, yeah, but let's get someone in first and then go off Firpo next year. You know, you can be moved on, just like all of them can. None of them are immune to being moved on. I just don't know if it decreases his value though, BMG. That's what I'm saying. Like, why would Firpo want to do that? It's full-bodied, Andy. It's full-bodied. Emmett says, the difference between us and Sheffield going into the Prem is we will spend money and be backed by Red Bull and 49, and Sheffield will go up, get 15 points and slide rapidly back to the Championship. I agree, Emmett. I love it. Andy Ross says, Firpo assists are good. I was thinking that late, and he's a beast on assists. He's an absolute monster. BMG says, I thought it was a bit of a blessing in disguise to stay down because I don't think we were ready this time. With smart recruitment, we should be okay, but we can't afford to stay down again. We can't afford to stay down again. That much is sure. Chris Gill says, don't forget the Prem is a lot faster. It means Tanaka won't have the time and space like now. We don't know with Tanaka. I don't want to be that guy because he's been so mint, but you just don't know. I don't know why people are so like when they like someone, they're all in, aren't they? You know, which is fine, you know. But it's like all in. William Hill. It's like, you know, just let's see how he gets on. Let's not. I also don't apply too much pressure to him because, again, he's not immune from a bad game. It's not like he's unbelievably world class, and he may very well end up being. But ultimately, we did sign him for cheap, and he did come from like the second division or whatever it was in Bundesliga. So you never know, boys. You never know. Need at least 6 good Prem players. Keep our best. I think we need 3, Mark. I mean, if you could get 6 that are genuinely Prem players, you'd obviously take that. But I just think that'd be, you'd be spending fortunes at that point. George says, as much as I love Tanaka, teams in the Prem will actually pressure him and quality without fear, unlike Championship. Jerry's out if he can handle it. I hope he does, as I'm sure you do, George, but I agree, brother. Take it easy, Emmett. Thank you, dude. Cheers for tuning in. We've seen him in the Prem. He ain't suddenly Prem going to improve at this point. Well, we were really, really bad. Well, we'll see, Dr. Cruz. I hope you're right. Got to keep some cohesion in the squad, says Matt. Can't bring in a brand new spine of the team that don't know each other. These players have got us up, so deserve a chance in the Prem with some new quality. Je ne sais quoi, brother. Je ne sais quoi. Love it, mate. Right, boyos, we've done an hour. So if you could smash a like for us, guys, honestly, it'd be really appreciated. There's 50 people watching. If you could smash a like, we're on 54 likes, but they dip in and dip out. So please do smash a like for us, guys. It massively helps. I'll be going live for the game tomorrow. I'll do a watch along tomorrow, and then an instant reaction where obviously we'll all jump in and get the chat going. I might see what Big Dumbo Lance's saying, see if I can get him in after the game for his views on the game. But he's at a darts championship, so he might be a little bit light-headed, but that's totally fine, isn't it? Cheers, Mingy boy. Cheers, Mark Jones. Thank you, boys. You're a legend. I would, Dr. Curious, but I've got to go to work, dude. I'm DJing tonight, so I've got to start getting ready. Or you know me, these things are marathons. But I missed my slot last night because I was exhausted, and then ended up going out. To be fair, which was like the opposite of being exhausted. But thank you, Andrew. I certainly will. 3-1 says AO tomorrow. Yes, BMG. Love it, mate. Love it if we beat them tomorrow. Cheers, Bryn. Cheers, Jack. Thank you for subscribing as well, dude. You're a legend, man. I appreciate it. Get Stig back on. He don't talk to me anymore, Mark. I ain't spoke to him for donks. Yeah, smash a like for us, guys. Honestly, it really does help. And send it to all your pals and all. Send it to all your mates. But hopefully I'll see you all tomorrow for the watch along. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Andy Rofe at Champion that sorted me hangover right out. Get up in a bit, boys.
I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna hear your promises. You do you and I'll do me. That's just the way it is.
Boom.